I am very in my head about myself, have been my whole life. But she's always been this like energy of authenticity that I've recognized. And when I wasn't, had sometimes gotten jealous of or been like, comparative, like, oh, she's freer than I am.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!
Is it the best, the easiest thing for you? Like getting up in the morning, you know exactly what you want to wear. And it's like, it's not only like easy, looks good, serves the best, highest purpose for you. Like why wouldn't you make your own wardrobe or your own branding wardrobe if you could?
I chose about, I want to say at least a year or more ago to stop giving a fuck about what I wore, to the point of I just wake up, I put on a pair of either black sweat shorts or my sweatpants, t-shirt, one of many hats, and I go. And I am just a billboard for my company. And I used to be a billboard for my friends' companies. Like I used to wear their stuff all the time as well.
Ooh, that was an interesting thought there. Like, yeah, what are you a billboard for?
I'm a billboard for Lyfe Choyces. I mean, like every time someone like talks to me on the street or in the gym or in a grocery store or wherever I might be, I when I mention, oh, I run a podcast, it's like, oh, what's it called? I'm like, oh, it's called Lyfe Choyces. And then like I point at my hat that I usually have on, and then I'm like, oh, this is how serious I am. I have it tattooed on me. And that's just the way it is. Like I'm not looking. I will always be my biggest supporter, because in the beginning of anything, that's who has to support you. You can't count on the people that are closest to you, because they're most likely the ones that are going to tell you, you maybe should think twice about doing that. Or, oh, I don't know if that's really going to work out. And, that's why a lot of people should just kind of like keep their great ideas to themselves and just like go and do it. Just do the action. And again, your friends, people don't usually support you until you have something to support. And that's fine. You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with no. You have to be okay with people not wanting to be part of it until it's successful. And then at that point, you have to realize, okay, well, who was there in the beginning? Who really was there for you? And those are the people you should surround yourself with. And all the other people that weren't, that now jump on the bandwagon because you're successful, maybe don't pay as much attention to them anymore.
Yeah, I'm learning who merits my close engagement.
Okay.
And that's, through learning myself too. Like what like you said, like I learned to not give a fuck about what I wore in the morning, and like that's for you, but then you transmute that into something that's like, yeah, it's easier, so I don't have to give a fuck because I don't want to give a fuck. But then like, oh, I gave enough. I give a fuck about myself, so I gave enough, energy towards that by making, just like making my brand for myself and like really being about me. So the same thing with like people, you have your trajectory that you see for yourself and what you want to do, and like we all make sacrifices um with even with those goals, and we want to I think we want to share it with other people. It's just natural, but even that is taking energy from the doing it, like you're saying. So like if I have to like look at myself and go, okay, what do I not want to give a fuck about that I could just let go of, that's going to help me get to that a little quicker, and so that I can share it with those people that are there, so I can like accept that I'm even there. And the clothes are a big thing for me because it's like, I guess in the vision of the success or where I am, for me, it's always like, oh, fake it till you make it or dress for the job that you want. But it's like the job that I want is to be myself and to be comfortable doing whatever I'm doing every day. So like if that's not wearing heels or whatever, then why not just wear whatever I want to wear? And like that's my billboard, you know?
It's important to have a great relationship with yourself. And a lot of people are getting on board with the idea of having a relationship with themselves. Not saying that people don't want to have the nice fancy clothes and like feel good and all that. Like I get that. Like you want a shirt that feels good on you. You want a shirt that, does something for you. But Kanye said it in one of his songs, like we've been told that we have to go after those things. Like you need to wear Gucci and Versace, and sure, maybe that's a status thing for some people, but all you really need to do is be clothed.
Mhm.
That's it. That's the necessity that you need in life, is to
Mhm.
have clothing, because we live in a society that says you need to be clothed when
Mhm.
you go out in public. So with that in mind, the energy that you're putting towards the idea of getting dressed, a lot of us, myself included, would stand in front of the sliding mirrored closet door. Like, who the fuck really needs that? But we all have it. And before going out, it was like, okay, do I wear the jeans or do I wear the shorts tonight? Okay, does this shirt really go good with these shoes, or should I match the hat with the shoes and the socks? Like, and I did all that. Like, I 100% was
I think
lost
we
in that
talked about this
world.
last time,
There's
yeah.
a good chance.
Yeah.
Once I let go of that, you're 100% correct. The amount of energy and time you have available for other things, which would be more important in your life, I take 10 seconds. I take 20 minutes in the
Mhm.
bathroom to get ready, shower, do my hair, brush my teeth, deodorant, the whole thing. 20 minutes, done. I take about a minute and a half in my bedroom to get dressed. And it's literally just sit on my bed, boxers, socks, shorts or pants, t-shirt, all black. I just easy breezy go. Let's get into the idea of the relationship with yourself.
Okay.
Where do you feel right now at the journey, at the point in your journey? Where do you feel that you are with the relationship with yourself?
The deepest I've ever been, uh, the most honest with myself and others because of that. Uh,
How honest with, so
yeah,
the
that's it.
relationship you have with yourself is one that you want to be, and you say you are being honest with others.
Mhm.
And do you feel that you truly are?
Yeah, but I with that means it having to admit some hard shit to yourself and others. So I'm also a little exhausted emotionally. But I'm learning and I'm I'm choosing better in like, we all want to be the best of version that we can be of ourselves at any given moment. I believe that. But we also know when we're not. And we know if we are making decisions that are serving you know, our highest self. And that's, I guess, what I would say where I'm at is like just discerning between, yeah, what's bullshit and what's not. What, like, I don't want to lie to myself anymore about who I am, what I need, what I want. I'm just, I'm still figuring out who I am, but I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to drop the veil or lift the veil. I'm not afraid of that anymore. I'm more like excited, to be hurt. I'm excited. Like, give me the spice in this life soup, please. Like, I want it to be rich and like, just meaty and all the nutrients in there. But please be gentle. Like,
Well, unfortunately, truth is not gentle sometimes. So
it's,
you have to be okay with that.
yeah.
100%. Where I'm at, being at a point where I'm not willing to not be me anymore, and I'm not willing to bullshit other people.
Yeah.
So when I have an honest relationship with myself, and I know that I've been working very hard at it for the past at least year, more than I had before this whole journey, the past year, because not even that, but I think we talked about this last time as well. About 10 months ago, I was sitting on the crapper in my bathroom, and I'm just sitting there going like, this is the same place you were a year ago. Like I wasn't like literally sitting on the toilet and thinking to myself, like, you cannot be here next year. Now, I'm not saying here as in like the physical bathroom. I'm saying here as in my head,
Mhm.
where I'm at as an individual, where I'm going. This cannot be the same routine every single day. We all have routines. And once I became honest with myself and doing a, like, I notice I daily reflect, like Sushi and I will go for a walk every single night. And I don't even realize it's happening when it's happening. I'm just talking out loud. Like I do a lot of talking out loud now. And I reflect on the day and I notice like, okay, well, where was I wrong today? Where did I say a stupid little comment when it wasn't needed?
Mm.
And here I am. Well, as we talk, it's end of February 2024. And now, like, I can honestly say, because I did this a couple days ago, I was sitting in the bathroom again on the toilet, and I was like, I felt I was not the same person I was, let's say, 10 months ago,
Mm.
because I chose
Mhm.
to open up the relationship that I have with myself. And I started being honest with myself. Like, where am I going wrong daily? Where am I going wrong monthly, yearly? Like, what can I do to better the relationship that I have with myself? Because I've been lying to myself on so many things. I tell myself I'm going to do so many things, but the action was never there.
Mhm.
So I've fixed that part of the relationship that I have with myself to the point now. I had the biggest epiphany the other night. There was a group of us out for dinner, and we were out at a friend's place, at a friend's spot for dinner, and our friend was there with us. And I'm sitting there with one of the people that work for him, and we're having a conversation. Like we're having a side conversation at the table, and this person is expressing to me how they feel about certain aspects of what they're creating. And in the past, I used to be, would have like kind of like quieted or like, okay, well, but no, I was like so in myself and so okay with who I am and with the same thought of like, stop being who you're not. And I gave my honest fucking opinion and I said it at a tone of voice. Anyone that was probably trying to listen, how like people will talk, but they're listening to what's going on over there because it might be about them.
Mhm.
I shit you not, I just said it point blank exactly how I felt because I have experience of what we're talking about when it comes to like food and restaurants and hospitality. And when I got home that night, I felt so fucking good because I was honest to myself and
Mhm.
I was honest to the group of people I was with
Mhm.
because I wasn't going to hold back what my thought process was because one person may think a certain way about it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I'm feeling like I the more honest I am with myself because I we all get to that point where you're faced with it. You either have to get honest with yourself or you keep making yourself sick, you know?
Or you just stay stagnant.
Yeah, which is sick because life is meant to flow. Everything flows, you know? So we have this like thought in our head like, but I value the relationship with others and what is appropriate, not appropriate. So like there's even that level of care that we, stew on, and I'm sure that that's as a person who wants to be honest with themselves, of course, they probably care about others and don't want to like make anything more difficult for them, but
I'm going to pause you.
yeah.
We need to value ourselves more because if the people you're around or wanting to be honest with are actual friends,
Mhm.
they're not going to be offended by what you're saying if you're saying
Right.
things in an
Yeah,
honest, critiqued way.
that's what yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was getting to is that it's like and the feeling that you had, that's what I'm saying. Like I guess I had that opening of like, okay, Gina, you're not showing up as the person you say you want to be or that you say you are. And we talked about this last time, like the observer part. Like I was in observer mode. Like I was literally just observing myself in a lot of ways. The last episode really helped like crack me open. I guess like help me get to the next layer. Like shed the bottom and get to the next. And so now I feel like it's the honesty layer and it's like integrity and it's like knowing that if I don't show up with integrity, which means to myself, like being honest, if I hold something back or if I am doing it for another person, my friend, I am stunting my own growth. I am lying to myself. I am putting myself back in that place I said I'm not going to be
And you're
last
not
year.
being a good friend to them because if you're not truly yourself,
Mhm.
how do they know that that's a person they want to be around?
Exactly. And so you have to give people all of you, who you are. And like you, again, my ninja, the people who merit your close engagement when your success reach your success. Then we're back to that point. It's like once you figured yourself out, that's the success. That's where you've got. That's figuring yourself out is making it.
And some people take their whole life to do it. I'm 46 years old. I'm just figuring it out now. And now that I'm able to see who I really am on a daily basis, the level of growth is going to go a lot quicker because when you say like you shed that skin and that layer and you become that th- when people hit those moments in their life where they do something that changes them internally forever, you will feel it.
Yeah, how could you not?
I mean,
I feel like
I
it
never did
changes.
before.
I feel like that is what, like, epigenetics talks a lot about. I learned a little bit in school, so I'm not gonna go into that, but I, as a very imaginative person, can visualize my cells, the frequency of them changing. Someone once said somewhere on Instagram, maybe this podcast, I don't know, but, it was about how authenticity is, like, the highest, I guess, frequency there is. Being authentic is like that is true love, right? That's loving yourself, that's loving others. So you can feel that everything is a frequency. And so if you're that, you allow your friends to be that, which, not everybody's in the same place. And it doesn't mean that they're like not worthy of your close engagement. It just means that that place that they're in might take a little bit more energy from you and it's not going to be as reciprocal. So you gotta, make those choices of what you're willing to risk energetically.
I'm for me, I'm willing to risk everything. I just am. I'm at that point now where like if I'm lucky enough to be part of the wake up club,
Mhm.
right? I got nothing to lose that day. I have everything to gain. So I'm not going to disrespect my friends by not being truthful or not being exactly who I want to be, right? Like
Yeah.
just not. Because if you do it regularly, everyone is on their journey and everyone moves at a different rate. Those who will be receptive to it eventually will follow suit because they'll see the empowerment that you have. They'll see your actions that you're not full of shit, that you actually are happier on a more regular basis. You are smiling more often. You are becoming a better human being. And that energy and vibration that you're setting off, they too will do it. Like some of my friends right now, and I'm so fucking proud of them individually when I'm in the collective. I used to not say too much, oddly enough, being that I do this for a living. And now I notice that certain individuals who in the past may have been made fun of, like, ha ha ha, we're friends, so it's okay, stand the fuck up for themselves now. Like
Mm.
straight up. Like, I don't give a
Mhm.
fuck. This is what I do. This is how
Mhm.
I feel. I like this. This is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
No, that's good because this is what I chose. And I'm just like in my head, I don't say anything in the I might smile or smirk in the situation. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking proud of you right now, dude. I am so fucking proud of you.
Mhm.
And then if I'm with that individual separate, then I like, dude, just straight up. Or if they bring it up later on, I'm like, dude, I was clapping for you in my head.
Mhm.
That's like, it's
I
so important.
I love finding out who my friends are. Like in that moment, if you were my friend and I had to stand up for myself and then I hear you tell me that you're clapping for me, it's like that validation, like that recognition of like you just did the work. That's what keeps me going. And not the only thing obviously,
Right.
but like that's what the friendship is, it's like that pump up that like I recognize you, I hold you accountable like in my mind, but at the same time I'm going to do my best to lead by example, I guess.
And you should always, when you have the right opportunity, because again, I don't want the other person who may have been saying something to feel anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make anyone feel bad. So when you have the time to tell that person, dude, I was so proud of you that you did that was awesome.
Mhm.
That is going to give that person more reason to continue
Mhm.
being themselves, and also hopefully will give them that feeling of energy of I just stepped up a level, which is massive.
Yeah, it's the confirmation. And that is what life is with others, is like witnessing their lives, witnessing their growth, just witnessing them. Like, I feel like if we all stepped back from judging ourselves and just witnessing ourselves, it would help us with others and like be able to step into that. Like, I have a friend who her name's Lacey. I love her.
Shout out Lacey.
Shout out Lace in the brace. She's an amazing person. I would love to introduce you. She does she's a massage therapist as well. Does uh she has a company, homeostasis, and I'm not plugging it on purpose, it's just part of the conversation. She's been a very big influential like woman in my life. And as far as women friendships, because when you describe your friendships with me and like you're like, the compound and like the
The
whatever,
boys, yeah.
I just imagine like this like wolf pack of guys like with their shirt off, like cleaning the pool and like
Yeah,
doing dude shit.
definitely not pool guys,
Well,
but shirts are off from time to
you know
time.
what I
Yeah.
mean, like just the stuff that I wouldn't be doing. Anyway, I when I met her, it's always been very synchronistic. And so it was very special at first, but the recognition between her and I, like she recognized it, I recognized it. Um, that was like the basis of us being able to be a little closer. So she has just always been this positive person where if I need to like I'm very anxious. I am very in my head about myself, have been my whole life. But she's always been this like energy of authenticity that I've recognized. And when I wasn't, had sometimes gotten jealous of or been like, comparative, like, oh, she's freer than I am. And I just love that, whatever my expression was to her of however I was feeling in moments with her, like in my life as my friend. And even if I was in that like negative, like jealousy, negative frequency, I never felt the judgment from her in that sense. And she continued to be herself and like very, very not toxic positive, very much real, but able to come from a place of like, that just made me feel okay to be a piece of shit if I was a piece of shit in the moment. And
So
yeah, so when I'm not and when I'm in that moment of like I feel so good about myself and I help and I'm able to pump others up that way, I like literally hear her voice coming through and the way she would say it because she said it to me. And so that's the other part of it too. It's like when you start to recognize the good that you're doing within yourself, all of those people start because we are, I feel like, made up of the people that we know, but all of those people start coming back and you're like, that's someone who's doing something. So then you want to support them. You're like, oh, what is she up to? I want to plug her brand, like,
well, that's what I was getting at earlier when you start something. And I mean, everyone in social media says it, when you start something and your closest friends and family won't support you until you have something to support. And that's fine because what you might be doing might not be into their like column,
right.
because we pick people to associate with on a regular basis that may not be the same cookie cutter thing as you are,
Mhm.
right? Because the opposites attract. And if you look at my group of people, there's similarities, but each person is so different and on so many different levels. And the support that comes in different forms. So maybe all of them are not talking about the Life Choices podcast on a daily basis, but they all show up for me in different aspects. And I notice since I've becoming more real for myself, which in turn becomes more real for others, then that support comes tenfold in different aspects of life. So when I say when my successes get to the point where I lose my anonymity, this group of people that I talk about regularly will always be there because they've been there in some shape or form, regardless of what I'm doing. If you understand what I'm getting at,
Mhm.
like they've been there for me financially when I've needed it. They've been there for me emotionally when I've needed it. Like when I lost a job that I thought was like the end of my fucking world, which was literally the greatest thing that ever happened to me. They were there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like we can focus on individuals that we have relationships with, and we can be selfish or jealous or envious of them because of different things. But if you take a moment to step out of that box, to step out of that circle and look in and say, okay, well, wait a second. What do I truly have? Okay, well, I have a group of motherfuckers that will go through the fucking fire with me. And that right there supersedes any of the other envious jealousy. Oh, he has this, she has that. Oh, I want that. Why don't I have what they have? Like all that stuff just disappears all of a sudden because you're like, but wait a second. What I do have is these people in my life. Your relationship with you is at a very good point right now.
Yes.
Correct? You're the happiest you've been in a long time. You're being more real with yourself. You're being more honest with yourself.
I'm not going to say I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Okay.
I'm going to say I'm the most honest I've ever been,
Okay.
which is translating into growth and success in ways that that is making me happier. And yeah.
And if you go down this path more and more, the growth will happen, the
Yeah.
happier days will appear, and things will be better.
Hopefully. Why not?
They will be if you want them to be.
Yeah.
I am a big believer in so much now because I can get overwhelmed with the stresses of tomorrow. I'm a human, but I'm focusing on all the positives that I have currently anytime one of those stresses come into my brain. So you're on a journey right now with a relationship with yourself, and you still come across moments of doubt, moments of anxiety, moments of the opposite of happy, let's just say, right? We yes?
Yes. Oh, I
Yes.
thought you were saying.
No, I'm asking. This is a yes?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay. And what do you do for you when those waves come crashing onto you?
Let it rip.
Yeah?
Let her
Okay.
rip.
Yeah?
I let myself. I just don't hold back anymore because I found that if I suppress, it's because I'm judging. It's because I'm afraid to know anymore. It's because I'm afraid to I don't know. It's just fear. And I don't want fear to hold me back anymore because I've noticed that if I just get to the other side, if I have the guts to get to the others, like the only way out is through. There we
You
go.
have to
That's
weather
my answer.
you have to weather the storm.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. In season 1 or 2, I admitted that at times when the crushing waves of depression come over me or a massive volcano-sized feeling of crying is within me, that I don't push it away anymore. I let it sit in, and if I have the ability to put on a movie that I know is just gonna take me over that edge because whatever's going on inside of my being needs to happen. It needs to be filtered out. Then what I will do is I will sit on the couch. I will watch that movie that will like, and it could be
What's the
like, it could be
movie?
well, no, I was gonna say it could be like, and it could be Chasing
Okay.
Mavericks, could just make me fucking cry my eyes out. It could be Schindler's List. It could be The Godfather. Like completely, like it just depends, on how my brain's reacting.
The flavor of the feeling, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but then I allow it, like, I mean, like, sobbing, like, just fucking and that's, like, an hour or 2, unless it's The Godfather, it could be a couple hours, but I go into that emotion knowing that I'm giving myself that hour or 2 to literally just get it the fuck out of my being, and then back to reality.
I've heard a lot of people giving themselves crying time limits in their
Okay.
day or releasing time limits. So it's especially if they're going through grieving, someone just passed, they'll allow themselves, okay, I'm going to go 10 minutes in the room and just whatever happens, happens. But that's me time. That's the time I'm allowing because I've got the world around me. I've got kids, I've got work, whatever. So I fortunately have a much clearer schedule than most people I know. Um, so which I think also might be a downfall, but I have more time to process emotions. But I also think that life kind of works out that way. Maybe I am, my schedule looks like this. My schedule's clearer because things are being processed. Because what I'm noticing now, being in this the relationship I have with myself, um, I'm noticing that I never allowed myself that time to process. I never allowed myself the time to step away from things that, yes, were important and still feeding me like a job, but I needed to shift that a bit so that I could have a better relationship with myself. And it takes time. Like today I'm sitting here with you and I'm okay. I had a cry before this in the car. Like I had a freaking moment, a human moment, ugly, ugly cry. Like and it's okay. But like yeah, your question to me about like, well, what do you do in those moments and like how does that look? It's just it looks like being a human. It's really beautiful to like now be not afraid to let people witness that, not put myself in so much, like not shame myself so much because I'm a human being and I
Or
have emotions.
putting yourself in shackles trying to facilitate what other people will be okay with
Mhm.
is putting yourself in jail. There's no reason for it, right?
Mhm.
You have one life that we know about right now. Even though we don't know how much time we're given, the now is all we have. And why not try to enjoy the now,
Mhm.
right? So if you're continuously hiding who you are to appease other people,
Mhm.
you're doing two things wrong. You're hurting yourself and you're not being fair to them because you're not giving them who you are.
Mhm.
And if who you are is A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, if they don't like any of that, they're not your people.
Exactly.
Or they're at a different point in their journey that they may not be able to accept you for who you are. It's not good. It's not
And
bad.
that's
It's
okay.
just life.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I've noticed with myself, the more I spend time coming to the conclusion of what peace of mind is, I'm going to get into this in a second, but what I notice I do lately is meditation is different for everybody. There's different forms. You can be a yogi and this could be meditation, or you could go for a walk and talk to the trees. That could be meditation. I find myself daily now when things are getting difficult that I may take 10 or 20 minutes to really focus on drifting away. And what I mean by that is so many moments of the day fly by us so quickly and we can't get them back because time is a thief. So, in order to hold on to the moments we got, we have to appreciate each minute for what it is. So, the longest 10 or 20 minutes of my day is when I take these moments to meditate. And I'm not meditating on anything specifically. I'm closing my eyes and I'm laying or sitting there and I'm every ounce of my being is within that minute, right? Like those 10 minutes feel sometimes like an hour because I'm so focused on just being that nothing is in my brain. Like I literally can get to that point where I don't have a thought and I'm focusing on being still, I guess. And it resets me.
I get that way. My meditation looks different. For me, meditation is active. It would be exercise for me. Uh like riding my bike or something. Like I'm actively moving the bike, going on a long ride. I'm able to just feel like my body sweating and like just feel all the senses, not even remember one thing I thought about. I'm listening to music sometimes. So that for me is like drifting and like giving my mind a break from caring about anything or trying to figure anything out. When I do meditations like you're talking about, for me, that's more like prayer and intention. And then it sets me up for being more present in my life. But it's the practice of like pulling my mind, like pulling my attention back here. It's so hard for me to do that being still. It's easier for me to do it like actively.
I've never been more present in the now, besides when sleeping, get into that in a second, than when I do that meditation. And what helped me, if you see this little mat on the ground there,
Mhm.
okay, shout out to Peter Price, aka Pete Casso. He gave me that as a gift after one of the episodes that we recorded. It's an acupuncture mat and headrest. When I say it is a level of intensity that I have never felt in my life, like I have tattoos all over my body. Now, when you first get onto that mat, it is the most insane fucking thing in the world because A, you're choosing to do it voluntarily.
That one looks a little spikier than the
Oh,
one
that's
that
a
I
full
have.
on like the spikes under your golf cleats.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you lay on that at first, you question whether or not you can do this for more than 10 seconds. I shit you not, when he gave that to me, I would lay on that thing and it takes about 5, 7 minutes to get out of your brain of what pain is. I shit you not. The next 15 to 20 minutes, I knock the fuck out. Like I'm just not
Mhm.
here
Mhm.
and I'm just there. Like,
Mhm.
it's hard to understand or explain even. Most phenomenal thing. I started doing that.
That's a great idea because that's exactly what I'm saying. Physical body, like if I have something to focus on that's not just thought, it's like body, then I'm able to, yeah,
I would
really
say if you have the mat, give it a try.
gonna
It
try it.
changed my life. I started that like 3 months ago, and I honestly like 15 to 20 minutes max basically is what I do. And that neck part is quite interesting too because that's obviously your neck rolls on it.
Do you stand on it ever?
I don't know. I lay on
Just
it.
lay?
Yeah. And again, no matter how long or how often I do it, the first few minutes is quite intense. The aspect of being the most now as you can, as we create the best relationship that we can with ourselves. And this is just my own belief system after reading books and living life and experiencing and becoming this individual that sits here in front of you, realizing that the only time, the most time that we are most present is when we're sleeping, because when we're sleeping, it seems like time doesn't exist. Because think about when you fall asleep until when you wake up, regardless if you wake up during the night to go to the bathroom, like you fall
Mhm.
asleep and you wake up, that period of time does not seem like the hours in which you slept, right? It's like, fuck, man, that was like an hour and I was asleep for 6.
Mhm.
Because of the thought that everything that has happened before is not the now, and anything that's going to happen in the future is not the now. So that time, like that time doesn't exist and that time doesn't exist, right?
Mhm.
So if this is the only time that exists, how come we can't feel that same way as when we're sleeping?
I think maybe because when we're conscious and awake, we have the need to survive our conscious life.
But don't you think you need to survive while you're sleeping?
Yeah, but then we're like in our more like autonomic nervous system where things are just happening for us.
Right. Which is what the body
So
does.
so when we're awake, why can't we just go,
Literally what I'm trying to say. Why can't we? Because we've been programmed so much for our minds to think and feel the way in which we're taught
mm,
to experience what
to
was or what will be.
okay, back to the book from last time, The Untethered Soul, the observer, right? So we all have that inherent part of us. Like we're observing the life around us. The narrator, we are just like narrating the life around us. And so that we can understand it and survive and make something of it. So we're just listening to all the narrations of the people that came before that raised us, that we've witnessed, and we're actively choosing to continue to tell ourselves those stories and how things work, how things are, who we are. And until you become conscious, until you do meditate, until you do decide to be present and honest and go, okay, well, this is what I'm telling myself. And these are the facts here. But I know I did not create myself. And if I limit myself into like, this is the only way things are, then I'm limiting my growth. So, okay, take that off. This isn't the only way things could be. And it's only my perspective that I'm listening to right now. So let's talk about it. Let's talk to friends. It's like, think it out, think it out first, write it out, talk about it, find out what the facts are and be honest. But you got to be honest about the facts if you want any kind of change from reality. So if you want to change your reality to be more present, you got to wake up to the fact that you're not being present, which in itself is you being present. So it's kind of like, is that a choice, or does that happen to you because of other choices?
I think it happens to you because you're choosing to create the reality that you want,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people are too, I don't want to say people are too afraid, but some people aren't willing to think it's possible that you can create the life that you want by thinking it into existence.
Mm.
And I'm a big believer in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have anything you want if you think it. It's not as simple as just think $1 million, you get home and $1 million is there.
No.
There's the work, there's the practice, there's the effort, there's the daily grind. There is so much more to it. But once you realize the truth about the fact that what you think can happen or what you think will happen, then that reality becomes yours because you're more open to it. And then there's no limitation on what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Those people that have everything, let's say, that have the ability to do what they want, they're the most honest with themselves because at the root, whether they know it or not,
Mm-hmm.
they don't give a fuck about what anyone else is saying about what they do. I work for the 1%. I've worked for them for 16 years. One commonality that I have witnessed from all of them, they don't ask people permission for things. They might have their conciliaries, the people they go to bounce ideas off or whatever. But at the end of the day, if they want to do something, they're going to fucking do it. And then it will work out for them. It's very strange. It comes back to one of the first books I read out of this collection, which is Think and Grow Rich. Some of the biggest name people in North America who created what it is now did not give a fuck what people said to them about they're not going to be able to do that.
That goes back to it doesn't even have to be friends, but people you're around. So you work for them. You have that uh, perspective. You're witnessing that, whether you're close with them, intimately as a friend or not. You still have like that person around you, and you're witnessing them behave and be that. So you're like, oh, that is an option. And I guess right now for me, that's exactly it. Like I got to a point where I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. And on top of that, it is opening me up in ways that I was like, well, I'm so stuck here. And it's because I'm not being honest with myself. So let me be honest with myself. Then it opened up me being honest with other people, which opened up much more, but much more perspective for me about who I am, which is giving me more perspective, more confidence to sit here and say I don't give a fuck. And hopefully somebody is watching and be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck either. But I don't mean it in the sense of like we don't need to care about things and people, but definitely like
Not giving a fuck about the stupid shit that we shouldn't give a fuck about, which in
exactly.
turn gives you the confidence. For me, it's not an option. It's the only choice.
Hmm.
Not giving a fuck. I'll use an example. This morning, I'm at the gym. Uh, if anyone sees me at the gym, they'll see me kind of dancing a little bit in between my sets because I got my music on.
Yeah.
I love music. I listen to music that gets me going. So why the fuck wouldn't I do a little movement? You know what I'm saying? And I notice very few people do it in the gym. I do it regularly when I'm by myself.
Hmm.
And I'm working out. And today was like one of those days I was doing buys and tries, and I was pushing past any limit that I had had before. Like I'm talking even because I just got back. I was away for 3 months, so I just got back in the gym about 6 weeks ago, and I got to that point where I could lift the same weight I used to. But now, like today, like I don't know what the fuck came over me. Like I was just pushing weight that I've never done before, and at that same time, first off, I'm dancing. Like I'm literally like fucking like almost about to cut a rug like in front of everybody type deal, and I am pushing more weight. And I'm literally saying to myself, even probably like if I didn't have my earbuds in, you could probably hear me saying, there's nobody else in this fucking world. You're in your fucking world right now. And it doesn't matter who the fuck's in here. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter because I only care about me right now in this moment
Hmm.
because I'm doing so fucking good for myself. It was a whole other world of realization that most people, even if they're in the gym and they're working on themselves, are still worried about the people around them. It's an intimidating place to be, a
Mhm.
gym. And I just don't care. Like I genuinely do not give a fuck. And because I have no other option but to live like that now, and I
Mhm.
try to take that same feeling that I had in the gym today in every aspect of my life. If I'm hanging out with my friends at a concert, if I'm sitting at a dinner with a group of people, like if anything starts happening where I feel like kind of like that old shy away from the conversation, oh no, don't put your opinion out there. As soon as that's, I mean, fuck that shit, dude. If you have a valid thing to say that you can back up with experience or knowledge that you have created over the years of time that you've been on this fucking rock, fucking speak up because you don't give a fuck anymore. And it's empowering. It feels really fucking good. And you feel like you've come out of some kind of cocoon.
Yeah. I feel by the not giving a fuck, I feel more success coming. It just like feels inevitable through art, through whatever, but mainly because it's allowing me to align myself with like not giving a fuck in my art, not giving a fuck in other areas. And I hate that I'm saying this so like I'm right now judging myself that this has become the theme of the podcast, but I really do. I really the point is I really do give too much of a fuck and I'm just like trying to learn how not to. I had that big cry today in the car because it was a big release. Because I yesterday admitted something to someone that I really care about that I was afraid they were going to like never want to speak to me again or there would be just like, some repercussions. And instead of it being what I projected and tore myself up all about, it was way better.
You're at the beginning stages of not giving a fuck.
Mhm.
You're not at not giving a fuck.
Of understanding it. Yeah.
Yeah. And being okay with not giving a fuck.
Yeah, but we're in the present moment, so when you ask me, I'm like, "I'm not giving a fuck."
Right. So the moment you had the cry in the situation where
Mhm,
you expressed certain things and you actually received a result that was the opposite of what you were freaking out about
mhm,
because you thought if I was this honest, this was going to happen, but instead it was the opposite.
mhm,
So hold on to that feeling,
mhm,
right? Like tonight when you go home, reevaluate that situation so you can hold on to the feeling that you got inside when you received the complete opposite reaction when you didn't give a fuck
mhm,
and put it all out there. That feeling you got when the person said, "Oh, I'm proud of you." That feel,
mhm,
whatever that feeling is, hold on to that. To remember that by not giving a fuck, you can feel that good. Okay.
mm,
Second,
mhm.
we do not need the valid. I know we
We don't need it.
underlining factor. Sure, we'd like validation from people, but we do not need the validation from anyone but ourselves. And the validation that you can have for yourself is that feeling you hold on to because you decided you made a choice to be honest, not give a fuck, and put it out there. The validation is I got exactly the better answer. So now I have self validation because I now know that if I give zero fucks and be
Mhm,
honest and put it out there, there's a good chance the worst isn't going to happen. When doing that information to people within your circle or a complete stranger, what have you, and you're not sure how they're going to receive it, you're 100% right. We live in our own world. Everyone has their own fucking matrix, and that's the world you need to live in, and you need to figure out how to survive within that. So give out that information to that individual, and if they're not at that point in their journey yet where they can receive that information in a absorbing manner where they can go home and figure it out what was said and how it was done and then react to their emotion, that's exactly where you have to leave it with them because that is now on them. That is now part of their journey. Your part of that situation has ended because you gave them that. You don't have to worry about how they receive it. That's part of the not giving a fuck because not giving a fuck means you're willing to risk everything there is, including their friendship, to let them know what's what. And in turn, if they're a real
yeah,
friend, you're not going to lose the relationship because they think that what you say has value because you're not bullshitting them.
exactly, exactly.
I think that was three things.
It was a lot of things. All this is all a lot of things,
Yeah.
and it's always so meaty, spicy, like I said. Like we just we need to talk about these things. This is more like my therapy, I guess. This is Life Choices therapy podcast.
It does seem to be growing into that situation. Everyone that sits in the chair after that record button goes back to green and it's not recording, people are like, holy shit, dude, I feel real good now. Like, what was that about? And I'm just like, this is just me. This is me expressing life choices as it is in myself and what I'm hoping to help other people with. And then anyone that is out there listening or watching, if they can just hold on to one tidbit of what we talk about week after week to help them live better, then my job is done.
It's wild. It's a wild like perspective I didn't know I was gonna get in life, but that's all of them. I had to like go through those painful moments that were me bringing the pain into my life. So now I'm just choosing to bring the pain into my life in a medicinal manner, I guess. And
Eventually, you'll get to a point where you don't feel the need to bring pain into it.
ooh,
It's part of life.
mhm.
Pain is part of life.
I think accepting the pain of it.
Mhm.
There is a discomfort, which is like painful for me because I want to be comfortable, right? I want to be confident. I want to be whatever I want to be. Ultimately, just happy, no broken bones, and I can eat. I guess this is what you could help me with, sir, therapist, doctor. I feel like for me, if I don't allow for time of experiencing the pain and the suffering of my choices that have affected others, then I'm not learning my lesson, or I'm not becoming better, or I'm not fully understanding it. But I genuinely want to drop like all of that and just choose to go, all right, well, there's no one up there going like, Gina, you haven't grieved long enough. Like, how dare you? I want to be able to like believe that, but
Life is uncomfortable. And when we step out of our comfort zone is when the most growth happens. When you attack something that is like not what you're used to doing, right? Everyone says get out of your comfort zone. Everyone says if you want to be successful at something, you're going to be uncomfortable for a long fucking time. Couple of things. Sometimes you may not be able to ever let go of certain things in life. That's just like maybe you just don't have enough time on this rock to filter through every single situation that has happened in your past.
Mhm.
But what you need to do is self evaluation or reflection, whatever you want to call it, on a daily basis. And that is, we've done a lot of shit in our past, all of us, regardless. 15 years old, 25, 35, 55, 85, don't matter. A lot of shit has happened before the point of where we are now. We have to let go of our past to understand that we have learned or healed from it is accepting that what has happened back there is okay that it happened
Mhm.
because we're here now,
Mhm.
right? And all of that didn't prevent me from being here now. All of that had happened back there got me to where I am now, right? So you can choose to still hold on to things. You can choose to still let things affect you in a negative way because they're still there and certain things trigger and it comes up in your brain. And I'm going to work on being okay today. And that's a hard thing to do because people hold on to ge- getting a tattoo, no big deal, right? That's 2 hours of pain for a lifetime of something that you wanted. Emotional pain, mental pain
Mhm.
is so much stronger and stays with us for so much longer. But anyone that's been through some serious traumatic situations that eventually have the ability to ask for help and get the help and go to therapy or
Mhm.
talk to friends or whatever the situation is, they become better because they've asked for help, they've gotten help, they've worked on letting go of what happened to them so that they can live now better than they did before.
Absolutely in agreement. 100%. The part that I'm in is the knowing that logically, and the trying to understand, trying to put the action towards doing that
And
present.
that's what I say constantly every day to anyone that wants to have a conversation and every week on here. The practice is daily.
Mm-hmm.
The action is needed. We all sit there and daydream. We all sit there and watch a movie and be like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to start working out and I'm going to get so fucking pumped and I'm going to feel so fucking good. And you go like twice in a week and then you use life as an excuse and you just never go again. If that's something that you truly wanted. Or we can stop making excuses like I don't have time in my day. You can do it a little bit every day. You can start by going for a 5-minute walk around your house. I'm just using this as an example until you build up those little tiny little building blocks of positive reinforcement for yourself to get you to the point where you get a gym membership and then you start going to the gym and then you realize, oh fuck, I got to eat proper too, and I have to sleep proper as well. And then all of a sudden all those little boom,
Mm-hmm.
5 years later, you're in a physical health that you never thought you could be in before because you started way down here at that little building block of letting go and reinforcing it with the action that you promised yourself. Every day is a practice, no matter what it is that we do. Yoga, gym, eating, walking, living, breathing, thinking, everything takes fucking effort. And you don't get to that level of high energy and vibration without practicing it. And I'm a novice. I'm at the beginning part of that aspect of it, but I'm totally fine not giving a fuck and speaking my opinion on the topics because of the information I'm bringing into myself of those people who are doctors and who have studied this their whole life and are putting it out there on a visible and audio platform to say, hey, listen, you can create your own reality.
Mm-hmm.
You can let go of the things that are bothering you if you do these things daily. Practice every single day that you're part of the wake up club. You get an opportunity to practice again. How you feeling over there?
I'm just taking it in. I'm digesting. I'm integrating. I don't really have much to say because I'm like, wow, I'm listening and I'm applying that to things that I just said and trying to understand where I'm holding myself back on the pain portion of it. Um because it is coming to my attention, the choice of it. I don't know how else to say, okay, the past happened. I am where I am. Like, other than
That's something.
gratitude and the practices you're talking about. So,
Where you are is not a bad place. You're at an excellent place of choosing to have growth. That's what you're chasing
and
after
now I'm
right
like,
now.
wait, did I make the right decision? Do I want to grow?
No, 100%. We all want to grow because when you start getting to that level of energy and vibration that we talk about and that the people we look up to talk about as well, no one can understand it until they're in it, right?
Yeah,
No one can understand what it's like to win the Super Bowl unless someone who has won the Super Bowl,
right.
right? So no one can understand this kind of thing that we might discuss about energies and vibration and how you feel and how literally everything else just seems to be like just disappearing. It's a very bizarre, unbelievable, how is that even possible thing? But it is for me. And I'm not the only person because other people have
Yeah.
expressed this and I'm witnessing them do it. So you're at a great spot right now. You're going to reevaluate different things because you just talked to somebody who is also on the same journey that might be, you know, level 2 or level 3, above you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people that are like level 8 and level 9 above me that I talk to on a regular basis so that I can learn and see, okay, well, what did they do to get there? Because I'd love to get fucking there.
I think what I'm feeling right now, it's a little profound. It's almost like, is it that simple? Is it that easy? Is
Oh,
it that is it that easy? Like the thought, yeah. The action, no. But the result, yeah. So it's like 1, 2, 3. Why do we skip around? Why are we trying to do math? Like,
because of everything we've been taught or
we're We're like trying to do long division when it's like a
Simple
1
math.
plus 2.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peace of mind is very simple. It's a mind of peace.
I love that. I just sat here judging myself hardcore about what I was saying about the pain, trying to articulate, but wait, no, it's my pain. It's mine, and like I
It
want it to be real. It really happened.
it was your
Yeah,
pain.
it was my pain. So, and I'm not feeling it now, and I was feeling it then. This is part of the process. So, yeah. I definitely don't feel the pain now, so it doesn't have to be here. And I can remember this feeling in the future as well.
That's the biggest, newest practice that I have is pulling back the feelings of excitement, the feelings of happiness, the feeling of childhood, the feeling of something new, the feeling of winning, the feeling of getting that A plus.
Mhm.
And by getting all those feelings, gathering all of those up and putting them back inside of me, I'm able to use those in times that the world seems like it's crashing down upon me, which it will, regardless of how awesome and high energy and vibration you're working on. Life is still going to show up at the door and barrel itself in. But knowing how to react to it,
Mhm.
knowing how to handle the challenges so that they don't become pain is how I believe we can survive and become better at being in the now. There's not enough time to sit and have one conversation because the minds are definitely working on themselves to become better humans. And I thank you very much for that. And I thank you very much for sharing your life with us and our community.
You're welcome, and I can't wait to keep showing you my life choices through our conversations.
I love it. For everyone out there in the Life Choices land, thank you once again for coming back each and every week. And we will see you here back next Tuesday, 2 p.m. on the Life Choices podcast. Much love, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You are now about
The Journey Life Choices podcast.